Good evening everyone and welcome to TTML. We are here for Division 1 tonight. It is round 9 of the championship as we take in the Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. Good evening everyone, I'm James. I'm going to be taking you through the stream. Nobody joining me in the commentary box, which is quite weird to say. So it's just going to be me by myself here tonight. Hopefully we're going to get some good action out on track, and hopefully I'm going to treat you with my expertise as well as we go through here in TTML. Round 9 of the championship, it couldn't be any closer towards the top end of the standings. We'll come to them though in just a second. But to remind you of the weekly schedule, of course, we go in tonight here in Russia. Tomorrow night, Aidan and Luke Etheridge will be taking you through the Formula 2 race in Italy. So they're taking the Temple of Speed with the F2 cars. Division 2 and Division 3 on Thursday around Russia. And then we're back to do it all over again. Division 4 and 5 around Russia as well. And that, of course, is on Friday evenings at 8 o'clock. So you're going to be in for a real treat here tonight, and also for the rest of the week as well. But without further ado, let us run through then the championship standings. The drivers' standings are as follows. Medium Pilot tied on points at the top end of the standings with Kalsper, both on 148 points. It could not be any closer between them both. Josh in third on 136 with Perpetuum fourth on 127. There are just 19 points, I think, 21 points, I should say, separating first down to fourth. So very close in the championship. Hopefully everyone is going to be turning up tonight. I have got a name glitch in the lobby, which is quite concerning. Recon in fifth though in the Ferrari on 95 points, with Legend in sixth on 70 points. F1W in 7th on 61, with Killer Blue in 8th on 57, TTG Bianchi in 9th on 45, and Navy in 10th on 42 points. The rest of the field are as follows. Bottom half of the field, Colsbury in 11th, with Nathan in 11th as well. They're tied on 41 points. Siege is tied for 13th with Venom on 37 points as well. Kagenio on 15th on 33, with Darkbull tied for 16th with Neil, the debutant last week. Drove a very good race, initially finished second. They're on 27 points. Spreen is in 18th on 11. That's why I can't see his name, because he is in the lobby. So it is Spreen, the Alfa Romeo, that has appeared. The Keeper in 19th on 7, and Westy, who has yet to debut, I think, so far this season in TTML, he's in 20th on the nil point. But he is here within the lobby tonight. We've got 12 drivers currently sitting within the lobby. And let me remind you of the constructor standings as well, which I forgot to save. So bear with me 1 second while I get these standings, because I have made an utter absolute tool out of myself, I think, there. Mercedes in first on 263 points. Ferrari in second on 245. Williams in third on 175, with Haas in fourth on 120 points. AlphaTauri in fifth on 85, and Alfa Romeo in sixth on 81. Renault in seventh on 79, McLaren in eighth on 74, Red Bull in ninth on 48, and Racing Point in 10th on 37 points. The championship permutations for both championships, they can't be won tonight. That's all I'm going to say on that, because Mercedes is not ahead enough of Ferrari to get the points, and with the extended point system, we're tied for the lead, of course, in the drivers' standings. The drivers' standings will go then to next week, and hopefully we're going to see some really good racing as we approach the end of the season. It could come down, hopefully, in Division 1 to the final race of the season, decide who is the champion. I really hope that is the case. Let's have a look then at the comment section and see how you guys are doing here tonight. And there's not many people tuning in, I don't think, so far, which is a shame. But good evening to everyone that is tuning in, of course, in the comment section. And a big thank you, of course, to Tom, who is in the background doing all the graphics. It is fantastic to have him once again on board doing the graphics for Division 1. And as I say, Kieran McGinley not alongside me in the commentary box here tonight. So you've got to be stuck with me, and if you're not a fan of me, and you haven't been a fan of me, I hope I can change that here tonight, just like how Boris is going to change the nation here in the UK with these new coronavirus restrictions. But the less I say about that, the better. Short term though, we are here, of course, in Russia. Let's have a look at the track map then before we get into the official video that will be played for you before qualifying. 27 laps await the drivers out on track tonight. Qualifying of 18 minutes. Dynamic weather, so we could expect the unexpected quite literally in terms of the weather. 5.8 kilometres in length and 157.8 kilometre race distance. And that 5.8 kilometres, of course, is lap distance, as I've already stated. 2 DRS zones, one down the start-finish straight, one down toward the back straight as well, down towards turn 13. The only bit of elevation on this track, actually, is going up the hill in towards turn 15. That's the only bit of elevation on the track. Otherwise, it is quite a flat track. Of course, these used to be access roads when we had, of course, the 2014 Winter Olympics. That is so far. That is so long ago now. 6 years since since the Winter Olympics was first hosted, of course, in Russia. And, of course, the Russian Grand Prix was held, I think, just a couple of years later after that, where they repurposed the track here, as you will see it in its original form tonight. But 15 drivers currently within the lobby. We are just waiting for the ready up to be given for these drivers. Hopefully we don't have a scenario where we had for Division 5, where some randomer joins halfway through the session and the race has to be cancelled. That is what I don't hope will happen here tonight. These guys, of course, are professionals, and the admin team, of course, are professionals, and we're all professionals as well. It's going to be really intriguing to see, but I'm looking on my view anyways, and I know you guys probably can't see this, but the main championship protagonists are here. Medium Pilot, Carlsberg, Typer Point in the front of the championship, they are here, as well as Westy making his debut. Neo, of course, finishing second in Italy last time out. We'll take a focus on some of those drivers within qualifying and also within the formation lap as well. So it's going to be really intriguing to find out who is going to come out on top here in Russia. But yeah, it's going to be a really interesting race. I think we're hoping that we're going to get the go-ahead very shortly indeed. Everything looks fine with the connection, which I'm glad to report. And hopefully we're going to be seeing some good action out on track tonight. And I don't really know what else to say, to be honest, than to say good luck to all of the drivers. And of course, actually, we'll go on to the merchandise just before we begin. If we have that available, that graphic available, of course you can buy some TTML merchandise on the Stick 'em Up shop, and I will get the description up just to confirm that link for you guys. If you do want to entice us in, of course, with how the merchandise certainly is, and the merchandise, of course, you do go to, I'm just trying to find the link, and it's not up within the on the stream, which is not a shame, which is a real shame. But there is the graphic anyways. If you do want to go up, I think it's stickemup.com/TTG Esports, something like that anyways. It's on the Twitter at TTML_F1. I've forgot it off the top of my head, as you can tell. But we should be getting going very shortly indeed. It might just be running a little late. I know, obviously, there's an important speech going on currently from Boris Johnson, who's the Prime Minister of the UK, regarding the new coronavirus restrictions. So we are looking like we're going to get the go-ahead very shortly indeed. And of course, it's weird because I don't have a co-commentator here tonight. I normally bound back and forth between the co-coms, so I've got to try and speak myself here. It's really intriguing to see how I'm going to cope and how everyone else finds the commentary as well. But it should be a good race. And you guys are in for an absolute treat, hopefully, out on track tonight in terms of the action here in Russia. And of course, Carlsberg won last time out, which was really, really good. Neo finished in second. It was quite an action-packed race, to be honest. We only had 11 drivers there in Italy last week, but it was quite an action-packed race. Medium Pilot got caught up in a really unfortunate incident regarding with Carlsberg, I think it was, coming through a Ascari, where Carlsberg made a mistake. He then came back on track and reset. The ghosting system failed. The Medium Pilot, sadly, had no further part within the race, and that is why we are tied for points going into tonight here in Russia. But with just 10 seconds to go here within the lobby, we are about to get underway. I best get my formal introduction up as well to commentate you guys through. Of course, this will be seen on Tom's end. This will be played on Tom's end, of course, out on track. But, of course, this track poses quite a lot of intrigue here tonight. And it's going to be really interesting to see how these guys cope with the potential overtaking opportunities out on track tonight. But without further ado, it is now time for qualifying. Well, good evening everyone and welcome to TTML Division 1. We are here for round 9 of the championship as we're taking the Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. It's going to be a really intriguing race here tonight for the guys out on track. And of course, my name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as per usual. No Kieran McGinley, no other co-commentator alongside me in the comms box. I'll try and do my very best to give you the best of the action. Let's have a look at the track in question. 18 turns out on track, 5.8 kilometres in length with 2 DRS zones, one down the start-finish straight, one down towards turn 13. The only bit of undulation, as I already said, is uphill in towards turn 15, but also into turn 17 as well. 10 to the right, 8 to the left, I think, around here in terms of the track layout. It's going to be really intriguing to see how these guys all get on. But here we go then. We are now in for qualifying. And we're about to begin qualifying, and funny enough, the first driver coming out on track is the one we're on board with, Medium Pilot, who is the first coming out on track. So let's see how he's going to get on here tonight. And of course, Medium Pilot, unfortunate last week, didn't have a great result. He DNF'd, of course, out of Italy, didn't pick up any points. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how he copes with the Russian Grand Prix circuit. Does look a bit overcast here as well, so it's going to be really intriguing to see how that happens. The no name, by the way, that you can see on the screen to the left hand side, that is Spreen. Just to confirm, that is Spreen. So the no name on my my spectator cam is Spreen. Didn't have time to jump out, but you know, yeah, we'll cope. We will cope. Medium Pilot though on a lap. He's on an out lap currently. He's in that Williams, of course. Williams well up there within the constructor standings. Going to be really intriguing to see how we get on. But let's take a look at one of our first drivers in question to have a look at, and that is Neo, the German who debuted last time out in TTML Division 1, and he picked up a second place finish on his debut. Was really unlucky not to get the win, to be honest. Carlsberg overtook him with about 7 or 8 laps to go in the race, and then won. Neo nearly won based on penalties, but very close out on track that night last week, of course, in Italy. And we'll have a run through the rest of the drivers, of course, as we go through the session and as we go into the formation lap as well. We'll recap those graphics for you. Medium Pilot, though, is about to start us off on a lap. So let's take on board on TV Pod and let's go for a lap of the Russian Grand Prix circuit. Into final corner. The Medium Pilot now coming across the line to start off under the VTB sign. VTB sponsored Russian Grand Prix, of course. Now comes through the kink at turn 1, down the hill towards turns 2 and 3. That's the ice hockey arena on the right hand side. And now he comes down and towards turns 2 and 3, looking very nice indeed. And now taking as little apex as possible down and through turn 4, 180-degree hairpin. The Fish Stadium will be in front of the driver as he comes through. And now Medium Pilot coming through turn 5 with the ice hockey arena, to the left-hand side. The Red Sea, of course, just in the foreground. 32.7 for the first sector for Medium Pilot. Going great guns already as he now comes through turn 7 and 8. And of course, count them up as we go along. 18 turns out on track here tonight for the drivers. Medium Pilot now through turns 9 and 10. Really good on the power there, I've got to say. Now up the hill towards turn 11. Then through the kink at 12 and then down into the braking zone, of course, at 13. Now opens up that second DRS zone. You can see him trying to maintain as much power in that car as possible. Going to be around the 103.6 mark coming through the middle sector. Now down into turn 13. Heavy braking's on that. If you get it wrong, you might cut the corner. Now through 14 and 15. Up the hill now and towards 15. And then through the right-hander at 16. This is looking like a good lap for Medium Pilot. We could see in around the 131s, maybe into the 130s here tonight, I'm thinking. Medium Pilot now coming around the final corner. We might even go into the 129. So Medium Pilot across the line, 129.6. My prediction already miles off. Neo was on a lap currently as well. He's one of the next ones to come across the line. 103.8 through the middle sector. Spreen has gone second with a 130.6. So nice job there from Neo. From Spreen, I should say. Neo we're on board with on a lap. Killer Blue has gone second. We'll take a look at him in just a second. But as Schiaparelli has left the session, that might have been a disconnect for Schiaparelli. Neo now ran the final 2 corners through turns 17 and 18. And through the final corner, might just slot into second. He does, 29.9. Good pace again shown from the German. He goes second. That's right on board then with Killer Blue. And of course, 130 flat currently, but last time out, of course, in Italy, he's had 6 race starts so far this season. first race was, of course, in the Netherlands. So that was his debut race. He's only been here for the 6th race start since the Netherlands, which was round 3, of course, of the championship. And Killer Blue has been doing a good job since, and he goes 3rd currently in this session with barely 5 minutes gone. Perpetum is on a lap. 132.9 was his invalid lap, but he's now on a lap, and it's good to see him Perpetum back, actually. 32.6 through the first sector. Don't think he's attended the last couple of weeks, so it's good to see him back, and still with a chance, of course, taking the championship win. Perpetum now through turns 9 and 10. Double left, really catches out, and it's caught him out, and he runs wide, and he invalidates the lap, unfortunately, and you can see him cutting the corner in frustration there. Perpetum looked alright going through into the entries of the corner. It's just the exit on the camber coming through turn 10. That is where he lost it out on track, so Perpetum taking no further part on that lap. Trying to pull them with Nathan, who was through the middle sector, 32.8 through the first, as he now reaches towards the in excess of 200 mile an hour, running down the straight. 104.4 coming through the middle sector. Not really on a good lap here, Nathan, but this is a banker lap probably for him. He'll go in and around Legend Spreen sort of area, I think, with this one. Nathan now round as Carlsbury has retired. I think that might have been in the pit lane, so Carlsbury has been retired. He might have had a qualifying ban from last week. Now Nathan comes around the final corner. Final 2 corners now, through 17 and 18. Yeah, nice lap from Nathan, just slots in a 10th behind Legend, goes 7th, so nice lap from him. Calspur, who I think is going to come into the pit lane, he is. So we'll take a look on board with him in just a second when he comes back out. But Calspur coming into the pit lane there. And he's had 7 race starts and 5 podiums in total for Calspur. So really good out on track from him. And he's had a 30.2 apparently coming into the pit lane there, which is quite weird. Navy now on a lap. And the main protagonist, medium pilot Neo Killer Blue towards the top end of the field. The Navy coming through the first sector. I think he's not going for a lap here, as his first sector is quite a way off. Navy, yeah, 34.4 through the first sector. Might just be looking to get on the board. He's got low fuel, so I don't expect him possibly to set a lap. But right above them nonetheless. And now comes round in towards turns 9 and 10. And cuts the inside of the curb. Yep, he's on a down lap here. So we'll go on board with the next driver out on track. And that is Venom. Lovely camera shot coming through turn 4. And now in towards turn 5. And it's looking nice from Venom currently out on track. Let's see what his first sector's like. 32.7. So he's only a 10th off what Medium Pilot set in that first sector. And of course Medium Pilot got quicker and quicker as the sectors progressed. So Venom now coming through the middle sector. The Scotsman, who had his fair share of incidents last week actually in Italy, had a few coming together, but he produced a really good overtake, I've got to say, into the Della Roccia chicane later on in the race, and he really made up for his wrongdoings. But Venom now on a lap. We'll see as he comes through towards turn 13 what the middle sector split is like, and it's a 103.9, so he's only about 3-4 tenths off Medium Pilot sort of range at this stage. Expect him to go in and around Chapelelli Spreen sort of area, I'm thinking. 30.4, 30.6, I'm thinking, out on track from him. And now Venom comes through turn 16. Really loose on the power there as he now comes through turns 17 and 18 out on track. And now Venom reaching the final corner. He's going to go in and around. Yeah, he's just behind Spreen by 9 thousandths of a second there. So Venom goes 6th. Medium Pilot has just started off on a lap. We've got Darkbolt on a lap as well. He's invalid though through the final sector. And we'll go on board with Calspur. Calspur, of course, we'll have that race graphic come up for you now. 7 race starts, 5 podiums for Calspur so far this season. Just quite a good statistic, I think, to carry him forward. And obviously maintain the consistency last week with Medium Pilot not getting the win. Calspur took it instead, and that's what was exactly needed for that championship coming into tonight. Calspur is preparing up for a lap, but we'll go back on board though with Medium Pilot, who is a 10th up through the first sector. 32.5 through the first sector, as you saw there on your screen. And now he reaches the end of the middle sector, and I don't think he's on a lap here. Yeah, 1.3 seconds down to Medium Pilot. Not on a lap. Interestingly, might be looking to wear away a little bit of the fuel, I wonder, and try and go for a low fuel run second time around. That's what he might be trying to do. You can see him just trying to prep up, I think, for a lap here. Petum's on a lap coming through the middle sector, which we'll cut to in just a second, which we'll cut to now. 32.6 through the first sector. There's a yellow flag just ahead, and who is that? Who was that going around? That looked like a Williams, perhaps, and that was Darkbolt, I think. So Darkbolt is round, coming through turn 10. Didn't catch quite what happened, but he was round there. Reverse side onwards. 103.5 from Perpetuum through the middle sector, so really responding here to medium pilot's lap time. And the cloud conditions, as we are now halfway through qualifying. Medium pilot on top, Neil second, Killer Blue in third. Perpetuum, though, on a lap. Now coming through turn 16, really close to the apex there. Nice on the power as well. And the German looking to be going quicker than medium pilot, possibly on this lap. As he now reaches the final two corners, the Mercedes comes across the line, goes quickest, 2/10 ahead of medium pilot to Perpetuum. Really lands himself there with a good shout of taking medium pilot on in qualifying. So good luck there from him. Killer Blue is down on a lap. Legend is 7/10 down. He's got a racing point of Westy just in behind him on a lap, so doesn't want to get in the way. We'll go on board with Westy's point of view. Legend gets out of the way, and Westy, I think, would have really liked that, to be honest. 103.8 through the middle sector for Westy, as a yellow flag just getting out of the way there. That was, of course, for Legend, as Carlsper has just responded with a 29.5 and goes second. Carlsper second, and Westy catches the curb, smashes it from wing, and that is his qualifying nearly done. He's going to have to wait for the drivers to come through. There's a Red Bull, a Renault, and a Toro Rosso, an AlphaTauri, I should say, getting out of his way. But now Westy will pull off to the right-hand side and come into the pit lane. It's a good job he spun through turn 16, and it wasn't at the start of his lap, because he would have had a long trek to the pit lane. Westy now into the pit lane. Luckily, no harm done, and he's still in the session, which is better than what Carlsbury can say, to be honest, with Carlsbury already out of the session. Just trying to board, see if we've got Neo on a lap. Yeah, Neo a 10th up coming through the middle sector now. Got Perpetuum to the right hand side, a 10th up still from Neo. So he's not going to improve theoretically on his time, or on his position I should say. He will improve on his time, he won't improve theoretically on his position. But Neo now coming round the final couple of corners. And again, another one that catches on the curb coming through turn 16. And now, looking to try and really gain the time through the final sector, coming around the final corner, really attacks the final corner there, Neo. Across the line, he's invalid. Coming around the final corner, he wouldn't have improved anyways. He was 9 thousandths off, out on track. Chapelletti's just started a lap. Legend and Nathan through the middle sector. Let's see how Legend's getting on. The Dane, 104.4. He's only 300ths of a second down, but he could make up the time in the final sector. Be right on board with the Alfa Romeo car. Was sponsored by Orlen. Orlen, I think, was a Swiss watch manufacturer, off the top of my head, if I'm not mistaken. Go and look that up in your F1 history books. Legend now coming around the final couple of corners, as he should reach the line. It's going to be an improvement, I think, from Legend across the line. Yeah, really found the time in the final sector. Goes 7th, 4/10 quicker, 130.6 from Legend. Nathan round the final corner. He's going to improve as well across the line, and he goes 7th. So he goes a 10th ahead of Legend. And Navy goes 7th. Runner 7s there. Navy, Nathan, and Legend going 7th, but now Navy holds that spot for now. Bianchi, let's see what he's doing out on track. He's just came across the line to start off on a lap, the AlphaTauri man. He's running no ERS running on this lap, so he might have invalidated and then possibly go into the pits for final run. And yeah, you can tell his fuel mode is now under 2 litres of fuel, so that's why he'll be coming back into the pit lane. The man with no name, Spreen on a lap. Let's see if he's going to improve. He's got Nathan to the right hand side of him. 500ths down coming through the first sector. It is a little bit of a pain, to be honest. Oh, and he's invalidated coming out of turn 6. And yeah, but that is definitely Spreen out on track in that Alfa Romeo. He's the Dutchman, of course, signed for the team. So let's see what he would have done, actually, as we've got 4 minutes to go in the session. Perpetuum on top, Carlsper second. Oh, and that is a heavy crash. A really heavy crash from the man with no name. It's Spreen, who has crashed out the session. And again, another one that just got caught on the curb, this time through turn 11. And unfortunate that he is out of the session. So Spreen out of the session. No can do in terms of improvement. 130.6. Currently his best lap. Darkbolt, who's already invalidated on this lap. I don't know how he's invalidated. It might be this and next lap invalidated. But he is on a lap. Killer Blue, I think, is on a lap as well, coming through the first sector. He's invalid. Chapeletti's invalid. Is anybody not invalid? Nathan coming into the pit lane. Medium pilot 900ths up. Coming through the middle sector. He now is on lap 9 and 10. Slight bit of a revving out glitch there, I felt, but medium pilot now. Where's the Olympic Village to the left hand side, coming through turn 11, and medium pilot running down the straight. Let's see what he can do on this lap. Be looking to try and improve ahead of Perpetuum at least, maybe ahead of Calspur, and he's a 10th up, purple through the middle sector. That'll be indicative of a personal best rather, I think, than a fastest middle sector out of everyone, but you never know, medium pilot could find the time in this final sector, up the hill, up the camber of the hill, coming through turn 15, then through 16, and now he's on a lap, and in fact he's going to bail into the pit lane with just 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Medium pilot then comes into the pit lane, and he wouldn't have improved of course on his lap as he comes into the pit lane, and he would have said a 134.5. So not too bad at all. 134.1 I should say. Dark Ball into the pit lane. Might be leaving it a little bit late. Killer Blue is just starting off on another lap. So he's only got time now for one more. We're on board then with Killer Blue. And of course Killer Blue in the session. 6 race starts. Netherlands his first race of course. And I think his best finish has been a 3rd place if I'm not mistaken off my data sheet that I have to the right hand side of me. But the sun comes out. The track will begin to get quicker. Now Killer Blue is on this set of soft compounded tyres. Beautiful. Coming through turn 4 now towards turn 5 through the first sector split. Yeah, 800s up. And indicative of improvement through the first sector there for Killer Blue as he now comes through turn 7. Very nice again. And he backed out of it, but not backed out enough. So Killer Blue out then. Out of qualifying, I think, with that lap, to be honest. He invalidated coming through there. Venom is on a lap just behind him out on track. He's invalid coming through turn 10. You saw how wide he ran coming through turn 10. And he's got right side end plate damage as well. So Venom has obviously picked up some right side end plate damage out on track, which is unfortunate. He'll have to try and get it back into the pit lane. But that is his qualifying session over as well, because there's only 1 minute and 25 left. Darkbolt has retired in the pit lane as well. And Venom, I think, might retire in the out on track certainly very soon indeed. There's another AlphaTauri though coming round on what I thought was the final corner, but it's not. It's Bianchi on a lap. Schiaparelli just in behind him. You just saw the little bit of lag there from Schiaparelli. Luckily not my connection, which I'm glad to report. Schiaparelli might be having a few connection issues possibly, as he is a German driver coming from Germany, and he will be hopefully trying to set an improvement on that 130.4. Legends through the final corner. 45 seconds to go in qualifying. Who are your bets on for qualifying for pole position? You know, I'm going to go medium pilot. I think that 2/10 improvement he can find will be there. So Legend on a lap now. Running down towards turns 2 and 3. And the right hand side, of course, the curling arena. I think I said that was the ice hockey arena, but it's the curling arena. Now coming through turn 4. Really nice corner this. Love it on the calendar. And now the Fish Stadium to the left-hand side. That's where they host the Olympic opening ceremony. The ice hockey arena to the left-hand side. So now Legend comes through the first sector split, and he's a 10th up. So respective 10th up there from the Alfa Romeo as he now comes through towards turn 8. And then through 9, 10 and 11. He will approach the Olympic Village to the left-hand side. Qualifying is done. Killer Blue will not get another lap in. He will retire in that pit lane. So Legend is the first one out on track. We've got a racing point of Schiaparelli in behind as well, or Westy possibly, and Venom I think is the other one. And Venom's actually out the session. He's retired in the pit lane. Navy is the Renault out on track. 2 times up though from Legend, coming through the middle sector split. Let's see what he can do. What's the others doing as well out on track? Perpetuum, Calspur, medium pilot, are those last 3 drivers out on track. So Legend then, coming through turn 16 for the final time here in qualifying. Really got it laid on the line. He's got another couple of attempts to find, I think, on the slab. Could go ahead of Schiaparelli. As Legend now comes around the final corner, we'll see what he can do. Across the line, goes ahead of Schiaparelli by a 10th of a second. Navy next up, he's invalid though. He will not be sending improvement regardless of what time he's set. There's a racing point, I think, of Westy coming into the pit lane just in behind. There's a Haas now of Neo, 2 tenths up through the middle sector. Let's see what he can do coming around the final 2 corners. Neo across the line, goes third. Nice lap time there by Neo. Schiaparelli is next to come across the line, catches the curb, actually catches the bollard on the inside and lagged into the wall there. So Schiaparelli is out of the session. Nathan, that is, coming into the pit lane. Medium pilot is 2 tenths up. Carlsberg is just behind him. He's not improving. Neither is Perpetum. So it's all about medium Paul at 2/10. Coming around the final corner. He's run out of EOS. Across the line. He sets the fastest lap of the qualifying session. A 1:29 flat by going nearly to Crimea. Medium Parter on top in the session. Perpetum second, Carlsberg in third. I said he might have that 2/10 in him. He's only found 4.5 tenths of a second to improve. Medium Parter on top here in qualifying. Fantastic stuff, and he crashed coming through the final corner. You can see just in the background there, Carlsberg. How was that for a camera shot? Possibly. Carlsberg just being reversed into the pit lane in third. Medium Parter though in front of the stands in first position. We just wait on Carlsberg, of course, to retire. He's just done that as I say that. As now we'll get in from qualifying into the formation lap, of course, out on track. But Medium Pilot on top, 4.5 tenths of a second. Impressive from Medium Pilot. That will do his championship hopes the world of good. Perpetum in second, Carlsberg in third, with Neo in fourth, Bianchi in fifth, with Killer Blue in sixth, Legend in seventh, Chapelelli in eighth, Navy in ninth, Nathan rounding off the top 10, with Spreen in 11th, Venom in 12th, Carlsbury, who I think had a qualifying ban, in 13th, Darkbolt and Westy both crashed out on track, unfortunately, or retired in the pit lane, I should say, and both of them not getting any times in, so they're 14th and 15th out on track. Let us, though, once again, have a look at this track map in question. As I said in the qualifying introduction, 18 minutes worth of qualifying is done. 27 laps now the drivers have got to do around the Sochi Autodrome. Of course, the 2014 Winter Olympics were hosted here. 5.8 kilometres lap distance, beautiful blue skies as well. 157.896 kilometres is the race distance. So you're going to be here at least for the next 45 to 50 minutes, I think, judging by if we don't get any safety cars or anything like that out on track. 2 DRS zones, one down the start finish straight down towards turn 2, and one down the straight down towards turn 13. And I think I've been miscounting the corners as I've been going along as well. I think I've called turn 2 turn 3, and the rest of the first sector different turn names, so I will get that right for the race. But let us know in the comment section who are you going to be going for here in qualifying to take not in qualifying, for the race victory, I should say. Let's see how you guys are doing within the comment section, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some great racing out on track. I've got to go around 8:30 for just 2 or 3 minutes, so you might hear some music in the background on from Tom's end. So with that being said, let's get into the race. Predicted pit stop strategy, lap 10 to 14 on a set of mediums. That's quite tentative, I think. I've normally seen drivers pit in from around lap 6, lap 7 around here in Sochi. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how these guys get on. But let's have a look at some of the drivers in question out on track. And the first driver we'll go on board with is Carlsberg. And Carlsberg, of course, 7 race starts so far this season with 5 podiums to his name. In that Ferrari, he is a championship contender, tied for the lead coming into tonight alongside Medium Pilot, who starts ahead of him. Going to be really intriguing to see how Carlsberg gets on out on track. And of course, he is the defending TTL F1 League 1 champion from last season as well. Next driver, just in behind him, is Neo. Neo out on track. He took his first podium finish last week, of course, in TTML Division 1. If you didn't watch that race, go and watch it back in Italy. It was a great race, despite the 11 drivers that turned up. And he finished second on that day, as I said, just behind Carlsberg. He got outdone by penalties in the end, did Neo, so he really drove a great race. Could be a possible favourite to win here tonight as well. The third driver in question we're going to take a look at is Killer Blue. And Killer Blue, the Alfa Romeo driver, is also one of the drivers that has only started a handful of races. 6 races in total. First race being, of course, in the Netherlands. And the AlphaTauri man will be hoping to try and carry on his good form and try and get a best result of the season. Beautiful blue skies here, though, in Russia. And I, like I normally do alongside Kieran McGinley, is going to predict a top 3 finish. So if I get any of this wrong, you can come at me in the comments section, at me on Twitter afterwards. But Medium Pilot coming around the final corner. My top 3 is Perpetum for the win, Medium Pilot second, and Bianchi. I think he deserves a good race. Bianchi, I think, will finish in 3rd position. Looking further down the field, though, Spreen, Venom, Carlsbury and Westy, all on a set of mediums. Dark Bolt the exception rather than the rule on a set of soft compound tyres. You can see Racing Point just lacking into a spot. That is Schiaparelli. Hopefully he maintains the connection. Might be difficult for drivers to overtake, but that is something I think we can note for the stewards. Last drivers now lining up on grid. And 15 drivers lining up for 27 laps worth of action. It is eventually light down, away we go. Medium Pilot gets a really good launch. Perpetum off the line as well. Good start as well by Venom, who has got a couple of positions early off the start. Carlsberg and Perpetum, I should say, going side by side up towards turn 1. Schiaparelli just lagging a little bit, but Perpetum cuts across on Carlsberg to defend the inside line. Perpetum, though, down the inside on Carlsberg. Carlsberg has to do a Matsushita and rejoin the track and take across the line. But he wasn't allowed to do that because he outran himself. Perpetum and Carlsberg nearly make contact coming through turn 3. Now into turn 4 for the first time. Medium Pilot leads. Perpetum 2nd. Carlsberg in 3rd. Neo 4th. Bianchi in 5th. Bianchi's got a good start as well. He's right on the back. The top 5 have pretty much remained as they are. Looking further down the field, Carlsbury and Schiaparelli are having a good battle here, running through the middle sector. As now, Nathan, Schiaparelli gets forced into the wall. Schiaparelli is out of the race. Schiaparelli retires at the race. Bit of a lag induced spike there, I think, possibly with contact between him and Nathan. Westy and Spreen are going side by side as well, as Nathan's been overtaken by Darkball right around the outside through turn 11, and now running down the straight. Nathan hasn't got any damage as a result of that contact, but he's in 11th position for now. Darkbolt in 12th. We see Bianchi going for Neo as well. Good move. Bianchi just might have missed that, but Bianchi is through on Neo. He's through and he's up into P4. Bianchi now is getting under attack though from Neo down the inside line, and Neo's trying to come back, but Medium Pilot leads. Perpetum 2nd, Carlsberg in 3rd. Bianchi's had a good start, he's getting into position. Darkbolt and Nathan are still going side by side, just in the background of shot. Expect a graphics glitch to the left hand side, as we'll get that now. Perpetum leads, Medium Pilot leads. Perpetum 2nd and Carlsberg in 3rd at the end of lap 1. So a very good start by everyone out on track, and it is Medium Pilot who does lead. A few drivers into the pit lane. Navy and Spreen are the two into the pit lane. They'll go for a set of medium compound of tyres, I think, on their cars, as the graphics glitch on the left hand side of track, but Medium Pilot does lead. Perpetum 2nd. There is Bianchi trying to fend off the attentions of Neo coming through turn 4. A good stuff from Bianchi. He's under attack now, as the graphics will fix themselves, and it is Medium Pilot who leads. Perpetum 2nd, Carlsberg in 3rd. There are the right graphics to the left hand side of you guys. Timings might be a little bit glitched, but they will fix themselves as we go on to lap 3. Killer Blue is on the back of Legend, 0.2 of a second off, as he now comes through turns 9 and 10 for the second time, and looking very good out on track. A little bit of a train beginning to form possibly, as Bianchi and Neo trying to get closer to Carlsberg. Top 7 could be within a DRS train. The DRS is not enabled, by the way. Even though it comes up, it doesn't show. Neo, though, is closing in on Bianchi. Right on the back, trying to get the move done. No, he's not even close enough to try and get that move done, the German on the back of the Italian. But, except from Nevi and Spreen coming into the pit lane, it's pretty much how we were at the end of lap 2. And there's a spinner in the background, that's Carlsbury. Carlsbury's caught the inside curb coming through turn 16. Just saw that in the background of shot as he now rejoins track. Luckily, he's kept that car going. I think he's got no damage either. Carlsbury, unfortunate again with another spin, but now he's still in the race and he can still continue on his merry way. Legend and Killer Blue have swapped positions, I think. So Killer Blue now up to 6th, Legend down to 7th. Here comes Venom as well on that set of mediums on the back as we run now through turn 3, and this is my time. I will say goodbye for 2 or 3 minutes, but you're in the good hands of Tom, still with the graphics, and I'll continue right on board with the battle for 6th and 7th out on track. as you join in, right on time, Perpetuum on the back of Medium Pilot for the lead of the race, and the German is through on Medium Pilot, Perpetuum through, and he's into the lead of the race. The battle for 6th remained as it was, but Perpetuum now leads, beautifully timed as I rejoin back. Medium Pilot 2nd, Kalsper in 3rd on lap 5 out of 27 here in Russia. So, Medium Pilot leading the way then, from Perpetuum leading the way from Medium Pilot, Kalsper in 3rd, Spreen setting the new fastest lap there with a 1:33.5. And do forgive me if I am a little bit out of breath, I've literally just run up the stairs. Darkbolt has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and we've got a VSC out on track. VSC out on track then brings 40% racing to our screens, and Perpetuum currently out on top for Medium Pilot 2nd, Kalsper in 3rd, and the 3 main championship contenders are filling out the first 3 positions, pretty much in reverse championship order as well. So it's going to be really intriguing to see. It'll be interesting to see as well when this VSC does come out, because everyone has got to stick to a delta time. Leon Bianchi will be hoping to try and gain a little bit coming out of turn 16 and 17. But now, nobody can come into the pit lane. Oh, Perpetuum dives in. Perpetuum into the pit lane from the lead of the race. Oh, and he goes. 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's into the pit lane. So Perpetuum with a revving out glitch, as you can hear, into the pit lane. He's on a set of medium compounded tyres as he comes in. And DRS has now been enabled, so we're back underway. Kalsper on the back of Medium Pilot. That DRS is already instantly available for Kalsper to try and close in on Medium Pilot running down towards turn 2. That's not close enough for Kalsper to try and get that move done, and trying his might as he comes now through turn 4 out on track. Kalsper on the back of Medium Pilot. The Fish Stadium there just to the left hand side, and Venom is getting closer to Legend just in behind. They're coming through turn 4 at the minute on the mini-map. But Kalsper on the back of Medium Pilot, looking good so far, 0.3 of a second separating the main 2, tied for the lead. Championship contenders coming into tonight as we approach 1/3 distance here in Russia. We're about to start lap 7 as they come around next time. Medium Pilot leads, Kalsper 2nd, Neon 3rd. You saw there the Olympic Village to the left hand side of the drivers. But now Kalsper's got a good opportunity. 5/10 is enough to try and get the move done down towards turn 13. But you can see Kalsper not using up any of that overtake mode, and he's not going to go for the move here down the hill in towards turn 13. Not close enough. Is Venom close enough though on the back of Legend? No, not trying the move. Not like he did last week, of course, in Italy when he dived down the inside of Ascari. And now Venom on the back of Legend. Again, just trying to get into Legend's eyes maybe, just trying to force him into a bit of a mistake. Top 2 are not into the pit lane, so they continue on for another lap at least. Perpetuum has came out and clear out behind Carlsbury, but now we run on board with Venom, who is on the back of Legend. If you're looking to try and get the move done, 60% of ERS compared to Legend's 9% as he now opens up that DRS, and now surely it's going to be Venom's move to be done. But Legend is only running at 50% ERS rate, and Venom might be the easiest overtake you might see all night. Venom is through and he's up into 6th position, and this is the point on track where the mediums are certainly going to start coming into play. So Legend now down to 7th, Venom up to 6th as a result. Westy has gained a few positions, as we've seen a few pit stops since we last came in. Spreen obviously came into the pit lane whilst we were away. And Navy as well, who came into the pit lane on lap 3. He also came in for a fresh set of rubber for a set of medium compound of tyres. As Nathan picks up a 3-second time penalty. We'll cut back on board with the battle for the lead. Neil's trying to get closer. He's 1.4 seconds off the back of Kalsper. And Kalsper will be hoping to try and maintain that gap. As now, Kalsper closes in on Medium Pilot once again. 0.3 of a second as they come down in towards turns 12 and 13. Again, Kalsper later on the brakes of the Medium Pilot there, but cannot find a way through, and he nearly went into the back of him coming through turn 14. Now up the hill in towards 15 and 16. Kalsper's just keeping Medium Pilot honest. Medium Pilot will be keeping Kalsper honest as well. And to be honest, this is the time, I think, for medium pilot to try and use up a little bit of that EOS. 56% of EOS compared to Carlsberg's 84% as they come through the final corner to start lap 8 out of 27. And Darkbolt has retired out on track through turn 3, and we have a safety car. So unfortunate for the leaders. They have just came past the pit lane. Everyone else though in behind, the likes of Westy and Nathan, who are not yet round the final corner, are into the pit lane. So Westy, Nathan, Carlsbury expect in. Maybe expect Papetum in as well. Papetum is coming into the pits for a fresh set of rubber. He could get a set of hards to the end of the race, and Westy is doing that. He goes for a set of hard compound of tyres. One-stop strategy possibly on for Westy. Could land himself in a good position here, to be honest, when he gets out the pit lane. Nathan is just in behind him out on track as they'll rejoin in 8th and 9th. Carlsbury in 10th, Papetum 11th, Spreen there into the pit lane in 12th, and Navy's staying out. So Navy's staying out. Quite interesting. Venom is in 6th position, and Navy will be hoping to try and overcut these guys. I think the safety car, but he can't really overtake because Papetum is now coming out the pit lane, and there he is to the right hand side. They're literally going to have a race down towards turn 2. This is under the safety car, remember, and Papetum is just going to be out ahead, and Navy, I'm sorry to say, has... Oh, and he's into the back of him. Navy into the back of Papetum, and has he been told to possibly overtake the German ahead? Quite interesting that. Take a look at that one if the replay cameras are back up. But Papetum out in front of Navy out of the pit lane, so he's in 11th, Navy in 12th. Very interesting. And Navy's gone past Papetum down the inside, and he's now been told, yes, give up the position. So I think there's been a little bit of a glitch there perhaps. Navy possibly being told to overtake Papetum, Papetum possibly trying to stick to his delta time. And now Papetum lets through Navy once again, and they're having a bit of a set 2 here in terms of track position. This is absolutely strange as anything else I've seen here in Russia. As now Navy will yet again pass Papetum. It's like a game of cat and mouse. Papetum though, medium pilot though, into the pit lane from the lead of the race. Carlsberg, Neo, all in. We see plenty of drivers opting to go set of hard compound of tyres. There's a few set of mediums out in the pit lane, including for medium pilot, who obviously feels 18, 19 laps on these set of tyres can go. So medium pilot will rejoin in the lead of the race. Neo in behind, Bianchi. These guys are going to rejoin well ahead of these the guys who pitted in. Westy, Nathan and the likes having to stick to a delta time are going to be out in their same positions, I think. So the top 4 are out, remaining as they are. Let's have a look at the position gains then out on track. What has this done under the VSC and the safety car? Well, position gains galore. Venom has gained 7. He's on a set of mediums and still yet to pit. No, actually, he's just pitted. He's on a set of hard compound of tyres. So Venom actually is on a set of hard compound of tyres. So he is in, and he's obviously going to try now and make those tyres go to the end, which they should. 3% tyre wear per lap, I would think, for that set of hard compound of tyres. Legend now joining onto the back. Killer Blue as well. These guys all pitted in, I think. Yeah, there are the pit stop strategies. 2 stop against 1 stop, I think, is the order of the day. Nathan Papetum, by the way, got out in 9th and 10th. Westy made another pit stop along with Spreen, I do believe. Carlsbury also came into the pits on that lap. And you can see the yellow wall tyre there to the left-hand side. Medium compound tyres for everyone out on track, barring that guy in 5th, Venom, who was on a set of hard compound tyres. It'll be slower in the first half of this race, as we are a 3rd distance. Medium pilot leads, Carlsberg 2nd, Neo in 3rd. If you are just tuning in, good evening to TTML Division 1. Round 9 here in Russia. Goodness me, I'm messing up left, right and centre. But it should be another great race, as we've got a migrating host in Darkbolt. Let's hope it just doesn't go to my connection now. But Darkbolt has left the session, understandably frustrated, I think, with his crash coming out the pit lane, coming through turn 2 and 3. I'm sure we'll try and catch up with him after the race on Discord. But medium pilot Carlsberg, Neo 1st, 2nd and 3rd. We're going to have another lap of the safety car. The safety car normally comes... you'll see the pop-up on the bottom. It normally comes around around turn 13 when the safety car comes into the pit lane. Lost my train of thought there for a moment, but medium pilot out on top, Carlsberg 2nd, Neo on 3rd. Lap 10 out of 27. Hope you guys are enjoying your night, even if we are now under new coronavirus restrictions, I should say. And all of these guys will be hoping to try and land themselves a good opportunity at landing themselves the titles. We're right on board now with the leader, Medium Pilot. And Medium Pilot will be hoping to try and spread out the field enough so he can get a good restart under the safety car. And the safety car, the Burton Marlander going round, the virtual Burton Marlander going round in front of the drivers. Also, today's race week this week in Formula 1. And it could be really intriguing to see how, obviously, the racing happens in real life, but obviously, shorter term, we're all here tonight in Russia. You can see the mountain range there in the background of shot. That is where the skiing events took place in the 2014 Winter Olympics. So the camera shot now, but those were the mountain ranges about 20 miles outside of Sochi, where the skiing events and the alpine slalom and everything took place in the Winter Olympics in 2014. So, again, coming out with a lot of facts for you guys here tonight, but my prediction, Perpetum for the win, Medium Pilot second, and Bianchi third. It's looking all good, apart from Perpetum there, down in 10th position, which is not that great. And Perpetum actually holding up maybe a delta time here as he'll rejoin onto the back. Of course, you've got to stay within 10 car lengths, and I'm sorry to say, I think that's more than 10 car lengths, possibly for Perpetum. But we should get the safety car to come in very shortly indeed, if drivers hurry up. And it should be on the exit of turn 14. We'll see this come out. And yeah, safety car coming in this lap. So Medium Pilot now has got to back up the pack sufficiently enough to try and not get the safety car before he comes round into the final corner. Medium Pilot doing a good job so far. Perpetum has just got to close up on the back of Navy, possibly going for a little bit of a tactical ploy there, Perpetum, to try and catch on Navy. Just rejoins onto the back, and now Medium Pilot floors it actually. Coming out of the final two corners, Neil's been left absolutely for dead, but back underway now. Safety car into the pit lane, and Medium Pilot ran the final corner. Has he misjudged this? Not at all. Medium Pilot leads, but Carlsberg has got a really good start. DRS is not going to be enabled for another 2 laps or so, so now Carlsberg's got to do this the hard way. Is he going to look for the move now on Medium Pilot for the lead of the race? I think the short answer to that is no. Medium Pilot now leads. A lap 11 out of 27 has just begun. Carlsberg in second, but what a start the front two have got. Neo already caught napping, 0.8 of a second behind us. Carlsberg will chuck to the inside line coming through turn 4. Medium Pilot has to defend slightly, but Carlsberg all over the back of Medium Pilot. 0.3 of a second as we come through the first sector for the 11th time out on track. And everyone underway, no position gains further down the field, but everyone back underway, back under racing safely as well, as we run on board with this battle for the lead. Medium Pilot and Carlsberg. You can really see Carlsberg trying to hound Medium Pilot in. Medium Pilot's running 8% less than Carlsberg in terms of ERS deployment. When we mean, of course, about the ERS deployment, it's the amount of energy in the battery that these guys can use up down the straight to try and get any potential overtakes done. Carlsberg not using up that overtake mode. Perpetum on the back of Navy. He was fresh out the pit lane, of course, off that 2-stop strategy, so he's now behind Navy out on track. Nathan on a red bar connection. He's in 8th position currently. Navy in 9th, Perpetum in 10th. Perpetum not getting any closer. See, these guys underneath the safety car restart are going to be stuck in a bit of a DRS train when the third lap comes around, which will be on lap 13, where these guys will have the DRS enabled out on track. They'll only be initially enabled around the back straight, so that's the only overtaking opportunity that can get done. But Perpetum might not need that. He's right on the back of Navy, hounding all over the back of the Dutchman. The German against the Dutchman, running down in towards turn 1. You can see Perpetum getting closer. Is he going to be getting close enough to move down in towards turn 1? We're now going forward with broadcast cam. Perpetum late on the brakes, down the inside and towards turn 2. Great stuff. Perpetum through, but Navy's going to come back on the inside line. It's going to be side by side now, coming through turn 4. And now Navy on the inside line, Perpetum on the outside line. Favours the brave around the outside, I think. Perpetum is going to have this through turn 4. Is he? Yes! Perpetum ahead of Navy. Brilliant racing between the Dutchman and the German out on track. Perpetum through, and he's up into 9th position. I said being brave around the outside really works, and that was the case for Perpetum. Westy trying to go side by side, but Spreen just in the background of shot as well as we cut on board for 12th and 11th. And Carlsberg are right on the back of this as well. But Medium Pilot still leads, Carlsberg second, Neo in third. Bianchi's not losing much time, he's only a second off. As we see now, Carlsberg right on the back of Westy. And this is down in towards turn 13. You can see the rainbow coloured, of course, the McLaren, the new McLaren livery that was introduced last week as part of the patch update. And he's right on the back of Wesley, trying to prioritise the runs out the corner of the fin. And the McLaren looking to try and get past on the racing point. Back for the battle for the lead though. Medium pilot leads. Kalsper in second. And in fact, I will correct myself by saying the DRS will be enabled down the home straight here. I forgot because the DRS detection point was initially before the final corner, but it's now not, it's after the line. So, Kalsper trying to close in a medium pilot, not going to be close enough. I don't think anybody is going to be close enough for any overtakes. As Venom picks up a 3-second time penalty. 3-second time penalties might add up towards the end of the race, as well as speeding to pit lane penalties, which Darkball picked up earlier on. He's at the race, so obviously can't serve that up. Kalsper on the back of medium pilot. We'll cut back on board with this battle for 12. Carlsbury and Westy. Westy having a good job so far out on track, looking to pick up a good amount of points. I'll be hoping those guys on a one-stop strategy really wear away those tyres. Navy certainly is one that's going to have to come into the pit. Perhaps Spreen as well. So Westy, I think, could be aligning themselves up to possible position gains later on in the race. Venom on the Tata Hards, really beginning to hammer these guys in behind. Legend and Killer Blue are getting closer. Legend not going to be close enough though to the back of Venom, running down in towards turn 13. And on the brakes he closed up, but not enough. Killer Blue on the back as we run on board. The AlphaTauri, of course, having 6 races so far this season. Make the 7, of course, as he comes in tonight. Joined 3rd race of the season. And Killer Blue will be hoping try and emulate his success so far this season. Down in towards turn 17 and 18. Halfway stage has been reached. Medium pilot leads. Kalsper second, Neo in third. Thank you for tuning in to TTML Division 1 here tonight. Really hope you guys are enjoying it. Perpetuum's on the back of Nathan running down the straight. Let's see if he's going to be close enough for any sort of move. And judging by the amount of closing speed that he's not doing, Perpetuum is not going to be on the back of Nathan coming through turns 2 and 3. Legend, though, be hoping to try and get past Venom sooner rather than later. Spreen picks up a 3-second time penalty. Perpetuum's trying another move around turn 4. He's on the back of Nathan, not close enough again. My voice is beginning to let go of itself slightly. Perpetuum, oh, diving it down the inside line. That's late from Perpetuum. Brilliant move. Perpetuum again with a brilliant move down the inside this time, late on the brakes. Daniel Ricciardo West, I didn't think he had a hope in hell to try and get that move done, but what does a commentator know? Perpetuum is through and he's up into 8th position. Fantastic stuff, and he's making his way through the field. Very much eye-catching. The out on track, oh, and he gets caught on the curb coming out of turn 11. Major moment there from Perpetuum. Nearly from a positive turned into a negative rather than the other way around. And Perpetuum is still somehow, after that half spin, in 8th position out on track. And he now is trying to close on the back of Killer Blue. And he'd just be hoping those tyres can try and maintain themselves as Venom loses it all out of shape coming through turn 16. Luckily, he took the outside line there and really gained through the corner. Oh, we've got a spinner in the background. It's Spreen. Spreen into the wall, did a Westy pretty much in qualifying. And now Spreen, round through turn 16, has got fronting damage on that left side end plate, it seems. He's got a T-tray actually on that car. Spreen into the pit lane from 13th position. So unfortunate, but yet again Russia catches another one out. Killer Blue on the back of Legend down in towards turn 1, not close enough. But Legend be hoping to try and maintain off the attentions off Killer Blue at this moment in time, but they've got the overtaking machine of Perpetuum in behind trying to close in. And he's only 4 tenths off. There he is. There is Perpetuum for view, with Killer Blue just in front of him out on track as we take on board this POV shot. There's Perpetuum just in the background of him, and Legend is just in front of Killer Blue. So these guys are running in a bit of a trade. Got to be honest, Venom's beginning to pick up the pace slightly. He's, I think Legend and Killer Blue, Legend possibly dropping back onto Killer Blue. Venom is doing a good job, and he's beginning to extend that gap away now. It's 8.5 tenths of a second as they come now through the DRS point, running down the back straight. So they'll inevitably close up. Here comes Perpetuum though, the king of overtaking here in Russia, trying to get a move done around the outside of turn 13. Killer Blue tries to shut the door. Perpetuum is round the outside though. Can he get the move done? Killer Blue sweeps around the outside and maintains that position. Not that time for Perpetuum, but he might have a run down in towards turn 1 perhaps. You see Papetum on the back of Killer Blue. Really good racing here in Russia. Lap 16 has begun. Medium Pilot leads by 6.5 tenths. Carlsberg second, Neo in third. Bianchi is struggling to maintain that pace with the top three, but he's in fourth, with Venom in fifth, Legend in sixth, Killer Blue seventh, Papetum in eighth, Nathan in ninth, Navy in 10th. Here comes Papetum once again. Is he going to be close enough to the back of Killer Blue? No, is the answer to that. Down in towards turns 2 and 3. As Westy is through on Navy, down the inside and towards turn 2, just got on board with it quite late. Now Carlsbury, parting on the red, 3 through the middle, great stuff. Carlsbury through and he's up to P10. Westy and Navy have a little bit of contact and another coming together there as they come through turn 14, turn 4 I should say, and Westy backs off. Retrospectively, he's on the back of Navy, but how about that? Carlsbury parting the Red Sea, like Joseph, quite literally in Russia. Carlsbury is through and he's up into P10 out on track. And Navy, of course, struggling on those tyres, so that might be him now dropping to the back of the field. Oh, and he's nearly in the wall, coming through turn 8. Goodness me, Westy now up in position into 11th, but Navy would have absolutely cacked himself, I think, out on track. And nearly went into the wall in the Aramco wall. Here comes Papetum now around the outside of Killer Blue. Killer Blue just let him go. Papetum through and he's up into 7th position. Killer Blue will be trying to maintain that run. It could be more longer term for Killer Blue. He could have a goal possibly down in towards turn 2 once again. But Papetum now up to 7th. Another one ticked off his list. Legend up next. Venom will be one up next as well. Lap 17 out of 27. This race has gone relatively quick though. Medium Pilot will lead. Carlsberg second. Carlsberg just trying to stay on the haunches of Medium Pilot ahead. It's not going to be close enough. Here comes Papetum though. Down the inside of Legend. We are seeing an absolute masterclass in overtaking here from Papetum. Another one ticked off the list. Or is it? Because Legend is now down the inside line. Coming through the hairpin. Fortune favours the brave around the outside, but he's done it again, I think, Papetum. Around the outside, he is through and he's up into 6th position. Navy has spun coming through turn 2 and 3. That's why the yellow flags were out briefly. But Papetum is through, and as I repeat, a masterclass of overtaking from the German. He is through and he's up into P6. And Killer Blue now is on the back of Legend. Legend maybe just beginning to overheat those tyres slightly. Papetum on a lap older tyres compared to the guys around him. And now Killer Blue will be hoping to try and get close to Legend. But Legend looking a little bit like he's dropping off the pace slightly. Of course, it's one thing to try and maintain the consistency of the pace. It's another to try and stay within the DRS of a driver in front. And now Papetum is lining up Venom. Sitting duck down towards turn 13, but Papetum is close enough down the inside. And Venom, I'm not sure if he let him through there, to be honest. But whatever happened, I'm not sure if Venom might have locked up. Answers on a postcard for that one. Papetum though is through and he's up into 5th. And I think there might be inter-team orders going on there, possibly between the German and the Scotsman. But Papetum through and he's up into 5th. Next up Bianchi, 4 seconds inferior. Both relatively on the same strategy. Legend now onto the back of Venom. And Legend's just got to be careful in terms of his ERS deployment out on track. And Venom, I think, might be close enough to Papetum down in the inside of turn 1. No. That was the Venom of last week who would have gone for that, down the inside and towards turn 1, but he doesn't. Carlsbury's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Navy into the pit lane after spinning coming through turn 3. There must have been white tail end plate damage, and he is retired. Coming into the pit lane, so Navy is out of the session. And 4th retirement out on track. Navy Spreen, the 2 Dutchmen, Darkbot the Brit, and Chapelelli, the German, all out of the race, out on track. But now we begin to see a 5-way battle for 5th developing. Papetum, Venom, Legend, Killer Blue, Nathan and Carlsbury. So 6 actually for 5th position. Neil's trying to get closer to as well to Carlsberg, although the top 3 have begun to spread themselves out. Bianchi has really dropped off the pace and not maintaining that pace of the top 3. But let's have a look at let's have a look then at the penalties, or we'll have a look at the penalties in a little bit. But let's have a look then at the ERS deployment for all of these guys out on track. 22% for medium pilot. You can see the throttle input. The amount of, I like it how underneath the bottom of the UI you have the throttle input, so you can really see how these drivers break in. They try and maintain the full throttle out into the corner, now flat out down towards turn 1, and then they'll heavy brake, of course, down in towards turn 2. Medium pilot though leading. Calspur second, Neo in third. Everyone in the top 3 out of DRS range, which is quite intriguing. There's Bianchi just in the background of shot. We run on board with him now in 4th. Papetum in 5th. And I will be trying to be a juggle act. I know Tom will want the race results, but I will try to be a bit of a juggle act. Trying to maintain the action out on track while looking at the penalties is quite hard. But I'll try my best. Carlsbury on the back of Nathan, trying to get closer, but he's not close enough through turn 4. And to be honest, some of these guys have been prone in the past this season to make a few mistakes out on track. Venom, Legend especially, I think, are the two more in question. But Carlsbury obviously had a bad race last time out in Italy. Yellow flag through sector 1 and 2 is Westy, and he's crashed coming through turn 6. So Westy is out of the session, and a VSE has been deployed. You just saw there Carlsbury back off, but a VSE has now been deployed out on track. And that brings a race neutralisation once again. Westy leaves the session, a 5th retirement out on track. These guys do remember that all 15 positions are available for points, as are, if we had a full grid, the top 19 positions. So I think that's just a fact to bear in mind for some of these guys out on track going forward in the final 2 rounds. I know it's a thing to say, but I'd rather see everyone finish out on track and give their all, rather than retire in the pit lane and give up and receive no points. Because you never know. 5 points could be the difference between you winning the championship and you finishing second. It's as simple as that. Remember Medium Pilot's bad race last week in Italy? He's down in the lead this time in Russia. But Killer Blue on the back of Legend. Legend is struggling with his ERS management. 5% again running down. He might have automatic ERS deployment out on that car. He's doing a good job though, Legend, nonetheless. He's in 7th. Killer Blue in 8th. Carlsbury just cutting the inside corner there through turn 2, and now he's trying the impossible to go right around the outside of Nathan. Not close enough though. He saw him maintain that heavy throttle input of a 7th gear coming through turn 4. And now Carlsbury once again on the back of Nathan. But Medium Pilot does lead. 1.3 seconds out on track from Calspur in 2nd, Neo in 3rd. When we get to around lap 24, I will go through the top 10. Well, all the drivers out on track, and Calspur's round! Calspur is round! He's caught the curve on the outside, coming through turn 11, and now Bianchi into the podiums. Calspur, that could have dented his championship hopes completely. And just one mistake can change the championship right on its head. And Medium Pilot now has got 3 seconds to Neo. Papetum, one of Calspur's closest rivals, is going to have to be let through here. Papetum is up to 4th. Calspur now 5th. And Calspur is going to have to troop his way, hopefully back into the pit lane, as that is Venom getting a good move done in the end. Calspur into the pit lane. His race, sadly, might have came to an end, and what does that do for the championship? Championship permutations right there with that mistake from Calspur. But he's still got to remain in the race and still got to pick up that amount of points. He's got to be aware of the championship situation. Here comes Killer Blue on the inside of Legend. Down the inside, he's got the move done, and Calspur has retired out of the session. He could have kept going. Here comes Legend on the inside now of Killer Blue. We saw this with Papetum earlier on in the race. Cosby's trying to go around the outside of Nathan and behind as well, but Killer Blue is through and he's up into P6. Good move there on Legend. Legend tried to battle back, but Killer Blue is through and he's up into 6th position. Calspur now not picking up any points out on track. And with 2 races to go, I know Medium Pilot would have been getting a 30-point advantage over Calspur pretty much, plus the 2 laps, the 2 points for pole position as well, and a point for the fastest lap, which is currently going Spreen's way, but it might be taken of the guys who finish, as unfortunately Calspur is out of the session. It's one of those things for the drivers really struggling out on track, and Russia puts another victim onto its long list here tonight. Medium Pilot low leads, Neo 2nd, Bianchi in 3rd. 6 more laps to go after this one, as we ride on board once again with Carlsbury on the back of Nathan. This is now a possible battle 3-way for P7, Legend, Nathan and Carlsbury. Adam's already pulled away, and Commentators coming into place, maintaining that gap much respectively and very respectfully to Papetum. And it's 1.1 seconds, and he's not within DRS range of this lap around, which is a shame, but Colsbury is. He's not going to use up the overtake mode. You can see already he's not going to use it up down the straight unless he tries and feels he's going to be close enough. He's trying to close, but 5/10 off, not going to be enough. What I'll do then, because we've got a little bit of break in the action, is we'll run through, with medium pilot in the background, the top 10 in terms of penalties. Obviously, Colsbury out of the race. Medium pilot has got 1 penalty. Neo has got a penalty. Bianchi has got no penalties, so that's quite interesting. Perpetum has picked up a penalty. Venom has picked up 5 penalties. He's got to be very careful. Killer Blue, 1 warning, good to see. Legend has picked up 3 penalties. Nathan has picked up 2 penalties. Colsbury has picked up 4 penalties, plus a couple of invalid laps, and Carlsper out of the race. Hadn't had a warning, had 1 warning up until that point. I'll just confirm with Legend, he had 3 penalties, not 2. Legend had 3, not 2. Colsbury on the back of Nathan. It's for 8th and 9th. Legend now beginning to pull away. You can see the lap pressure tyres beginning to come into play. Colsbury just taking it nice and steadily though, and behind Nathan. Realises he doesn't want to get desynced or anything like that. Nathan dropping 1 bar here and there. But 23 or 27 about to begin. Medium pilot leads. Neo in 2nd. Bianchi 3rd. Perpetum 4th. Venom in 5th. Killer Blue 6th. Legend 7th. Nathan 8th. Colsbury in 9th. But for how long are these two going to be in 8th and 9th? Not very long. Colsbury sails on by Nathan. Again, maybe one of the easiest overtakes you might see all night. Colsbury through on Nathan, and he was close enough to the back of Legend there. Didn't try the move, but he's up into P8. So, job done for Colsbury, and he's looking right around the outside of turn 4. Surely not. This is fortunate from Colsbury, right around the outside. And the camera, shocking work from me. Colsbury is still out on the inside, and now he could get the move done. Down the inside and towards turn 6. Can he get the move done? Legend is still there, still fighting for position. The Dane and the Finn, the 2 Scandinavian drivers, showing it how to do. A Legend around the outside of turn 7, gets the move done off track, but he's ahead. Legend through on Colsbury. Nathan is keeping up with these guys as well. So this 3-way battle for 7th is still on. Killer Blue is catching Venom just in front. But Legend and Colsbury, the battle of the Scandinavians. But for how long? Because Colsbury now opens up this DRS once again. Will use a little bit of overtake mode, I think, to try and get the move done. And in fact doesn't. And he gets the move done this time around. Colsbury through. Legend switches to the inside line now. No, Colsbury's got it. Colsbury gets the move done, and he's through, and he's up to 7. Look at Nathan, though. Trying to get the switchback. Perfect switchback from Nathan. Down the inside and towards 7:15. Can he get the move done? Legend on the inside line. Nathan on the outside line. Nathan, I think, backing off. He doesn't. He's running the outside of turn 16 and gets the move done. Brilliant stuff by Nathan. Up to 8th position. We are seeing great racing, despite the lack of numbers still going out on track. The amount of overtaking really makes up for it. Nathan through, and he's up into P8. And Legend, I will say what I said earlier on, his tyres are beginning to go off the cliff, and his ERS is just really unfortunate because he's got barely any left. Right, we can calm down slightly now then. Nathan up to 8th, Legend up to 9th, down to 9th. Killer Blue though on the back of Venom. This is for P5, out on track. Medium pilot leads 4 seconds. Pretty much the top 3, I think, are guaranteed those positions. Bianchi can gain 1.2 seconds on Neo. That is the gap in terms of the penalties. Perpetum trying to get closer to Bianchi, though. That gap was 3 seconds the last time I looked. It's now 1.2. But now Killer Blue on the back of Venom. 0.5 of a second. Separating AlphaTauri against Renault, and this is important as well because AlphaTauri and Renault are embroiled in a constructors battle here in TTML F1 tonight and throughout the season in fact as well. So Killer Blue on the back of Venom. Lap 25 about to begin. We see medium pilot there on the mini-map coming around the final 2 corners. He's got a very conservative margin of 4.3 seconds over Neo. Bianchi 3rd. Perpetum now within DRS range though. And there is the Mercedes, the king of overtaking around Russia, as I call him tonight, to give him his new nickname. 0.7 of a second, the gap. Behind Bianchi, he's getting closer. He's not going to use up any overtake mode, I don't think. Or uses up a little bit, actually, coming through the kink at turn 1, just to close up slightly now on the back of Bianchi. And 0.6 of a second, the gap between the Italian and the German. And Legend is coming back at Nathan down the inside line. Despite the lack of ERS, he gets the move done. Legend through and he's up into P8, but for how long? Nathan ran the outside. Oh, gives him a little bit of a tap there, Nathan. Might have just caught on the curb, but Nathan through and he's up to P8. A little bit of tap there from Nathan and Legend, but Nathan through and he's up into P8. Legend will try and come back desperately. He might just try and come back with a little bit of a tap his own, I think. But Nathan through and he's up into 8th. Going back on board with Perpetum, and this is looking on for Perpetum now for a top 3 finish. And unfortunately, with Carlsberg out the race, my prediction has gone up in flames, and now my prediction will even more go up in flames, because here comes Perpetum now on the inside line. The turn 12 would be on the outside line for turn 13, but he really doesn't need it. He's through and he's up into P3 out on track. Again, there might be a lack of drivers, but the lack of overtaking certainly going to be on, as Legend is now on the inside line on Nathan. There is Nathan to the left hand side. Legend through and he's up into P8 out on track. Great stuff once again, and Nathan will try and come back as valiantly as he will. He'll try and fight on those 16-lap all tyres. Penultimate lap of the race has begun. Medium Pilot pulled out a second last time around compared to Neo. So Medium Pilot leads Neo second, Perpetum third, Bianchi in fourth, Venom in fifth. Killer Blue is still close though to the back of Venom. Going to try and use up a little bit of overtake mode, and look, he's getting closer. Visibly, he's getting closer. Could have used a bit of overtake mode and he would have been side by side, I think, in towards turn 2. But he will not go for the move just yet. We now go through turn 4 once again, the Fish Stadium, onto the opening closing ceremony, of course, in the Sochi 2014 Winter Olympics, as I think I've repeated about 6 times tonight. But hell, get the facts out. Get the facts out. Killer Blue on the back of Venom. Cosbury, 3-second time penalty. Just got to be careful with those penalties being picked up. I think there was a 3-second time penalty possibly for Nathan before that as well. But Killer Blue on the back of Venom. Really looking good here for a 5th position, possibly Killer Blue. He'll try and open up the taps now down the straight. But Venom has gone. Venom has gone, and that might have been why. He might have used up a little bit of overtake mode, though Killer Blue is on the back. Legend and Nathan again swap positions further down. These guys have been embroiled in their own private battle, as we've caught on board it quite a few times. Nathan through and he's up into 8th position. There is the man of the moment though. Medium Pilot, who was round the final corner to start the final lap of the race here in Russia. And it has been quite a conservative race from him, I think, from his standards. Carlsberg obviously been out the race, not helping Carlsberg's championship at all. And I know these guys are very good friends, and Medium Pilot will be hoping that Carlsberg can really fight him next week as we go to the final 2 rounds of the season. Medium Pilot they'll lead, coming now around turn 4 for the final time. We'll keep on board with Killer Blue and Venom for now. Killer Blue trying to get close enough to Venom. Not going to be close enough, I don't think. As Medium Pilot leads Neo second. Petum in third. Really good racing out on track. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it here tonight. And Spreen saying he messed up. That was in qualifying. The Spreen messed up. He wasn't even appearing as a name on my screen, so he's got further than what I did at least. Round the final couple of corners, Killer Blue now is not going to challenge Venom, I think, for that 5th position unless he knows he's got penalties. Medium Pilot though, with no ERS running down the straight. He wants the fastest lap of the race. He's not going to get it. He's 6/10 off. But Medium Pilot coming now around through turn 15 and 16 for the final time here in Russia. Medium Pilot will be continuing on his good form. He will extend his championship lead. Perpetum will take second in the championship as well over Carlsberg. But Medium Pilot round the final corner wins in Russia. Medium Pilot wins in TTML round 9 here in Russia. Neo round the final corner. Another 2nd position for Neo. As long as Perpetum has penalties, he does. Bianchi is up into 3rd. So at least I got 2 of my predictions. Well, no, I got 1 of my predictions right. Killer Blue in 4th. Good points all for the AlphaTauris. Perpetum 5th. Venom in 6th. Cosby 7th. Nathan up to 6th. And Legend up to 8th. I think that was as well. But that is us over and done with here in Russia tonight. What a race. Medium Pilot wins. Your driver of the day as voted for by the in-game fans, Carlsbury. As we now see those podium celebrations, Medium Pilot on the top step of the podium once again. Fantastic result from him. Neo in second, and Perpetuum rounding off the top three. No, not Perpetuum rounding off the top three. Bianchi rounding off the top three. Jesus Christ, I nearly got that wrong. Bianchi finishing in third because of Perpetuum's penalties, of course. That is why. But Medium Pilot takes the win out on track. Let's have the full confirmation of the result. Medium Pilot takes the win. Lights to flag victory. Sadly, no fastest lap of the race, unless his 1:33.5 does get counted, and then it is a fastest lap of the race point for Medium Pilot, so he will take the Grand Slam if that's the case. Neo finishes in second, with Bianchi in third. Killer Blue, ever consistent, in fourth. Perpetuum in fifth. Didn't get the greatest start. Misjudged it with the two-stop strategy. Finished fifth. Nathan in sixth. Venom in seventh. Legend in eighth. Carsbury in ninth. The top nine finished as they were, pretty much. Carsbury with 24 seconds worth of penalties. Carlsberg, Westy, Nathan, Spreen, Navy, Spreen, Darkbull and Chapelelli all out of the race, which is sad because they don't pick up any points that were on offer from us here in TTML F1 tonight. But that is it for tonight here in Russia. It has been an absolute privilege to take you through the action once again. And just on a few notes as well, if you want to have a look at the weekly schedule once again, Italy comes tomorrow night in the form of TTML Formula 2. Aidan Carter and Luke Etheridge going to be taking you through that one. A great commentary duo around a great track. It should be quite a thrilling night of action tomorrow night in TTML Formula 2. We go back to Russia, of course, for Division 2 and 3 in Russia for Thursday night at 8 PM. I'll be taking you through Division 2. Hopefully going to be joined alongside me by either Bryn and Mike. And then on Friday, it's Division 4 and 5. And of course, Division 3, I should say, Aidan Carter and Conti taking you through that one. And Russia, Division 4, Graham Chappell and Cowboy taking you through that one. And Division 5, well, you're getting more of me and Daniel Hoggard. That is going to be the commentary team, of course, for Division 5 for TTML. And then we do it all over again next week, of course, with the introduction once again of CWC on Monday, which was, of course, streamed last night, and I forgot to tell you guys about it on Friday. But you have also got a lot of merchandise that are available for the guys. It is on Stick 'em Up. You can go on the Twitter as well, at TTML_F1 for all of the information regarding the merchandise that are available. We've got TTML merchandise, we've got Esports Mini League merchandise, and we've also got TTG Esports merchandise as well on Stick 'em Up. And thank you, of course, to everyone for tuning in tonight for the action. And let me get up as well. There was something else I was going to say, and I've just totally forgot. Yeah, you can follow the league on Twitter, at TTML_F1, if that graphic has not already came up. At TTML_F1 is the graphic for Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter as well, that is at B52Head. That is Bravo52Head, as Mr. McGinley normally says, of course. But that is it for tonight here in Russia. Thank you so much for tuning in. And on a final note, please stay safe. I know these new restrictions are here to protect us, so please do your bit. Let's defeat coronavirus once and for all. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.